Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Wednesday evening, August 27, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you all like this video. I'd really appreciate it if you all get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak month of Atlantic hurricane season, that's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you all utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the days be like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Taking a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook that just came out at 7:14 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:14 p.m. Jamaica time. We can see that the only entity that we have across the Atlantic is Tropical Storm Fernand right here, just to the west of the Azores Island, still right here to the northeast of Bermuda. And if we take a look at the infrared, we can see all of the clouds associated with Fernand. Not really looking that impressive right now. Pretty sure it looks impressive on the visible satellite imagery, but infrared not so much. We don't see much deep convection associated with it. But look across the Western Caribbean, that X99L that we've been watching, it definitely affected a portion of Jamaica today, so to Cuba and even sections of Nicaragua and Honduras. We see a lot of lightning down there for sure. But regarding the latest from the Hurricane Center about Tropical Storm Fernand, as of 5 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time, it is packing maximum sustained winds of 50 miles per hour. And we know that tropical storms usually pack anything from around 39 to 73 miles per hour wind, so it's definitely up there in terms of the strength. It is currently moving towards the east-northeast at 15 miles per hour, where it should maintain that tropical storm status up until 2 p.m. on Thursday. Thereafter, more than likely it will become post-tropical, no longer having those tropical storm characteristics. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that tropical wave to the west of Jamaica that definitely brought some decent rainfall to sections of the island today. There is supposedly another tropical wave across the eastern Caribbean, another tropical wave right here across the main development region. All of these entities being steered from east to west, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure to the north, as we usually know this. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before we lost sunlight, we can make out all of the clouds associated with the tropical wave that lashed portion of Jamaica, Cuba, section of Central America today. There is another tropical wave somewhere in here across the eastern Caribbean. We can see some isolated showers here and there across the Lesser Antilles. And we can definitely see the clouds associated with the other tropical wave, especially down here to the southern portion of the main development region, intertwined with the intertropical convergence zone. And we can clearly see that all of these entities are being steered from east to west, all courtesy of that ridge of high pressure to the north. And we can definitely see the spin and the twirl associated with the what's left of Tropical Storm Fernand as it pushes its way out of here. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Wednesday, August 27, 2025. It was stated that rainfall could have been in the forecast of parts of some eastern parishes in Jamaica on that Wednesday morning, also affecting sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes during Wednesday afternoon. And we know eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, and St. Andrew. Central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, and St. Catherine. While western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening? At around 5:38 a.m. in the early morning hours, the Jamaican Doppler radar image was posted not only here on our Twitter page with the Jamaica, but it was also posted on our Instagram page with the Jamaica, on our TikTok page with the Jamaica, and on our Facebook page with the Jamaica 876. So if you are one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So at that time, we definitely saw the greens into the yellows, even into the oranges and the reds. They represent some moderate to some heavy rainfall affecting sections of St. Mary and St. Anne at that time in the early morning hours. Definitely got some decent rainfall on the north coast at that time. That wasn't really predicted, but this was at around 10:35 a.m. The visible satellite image was posted, and it highlighted some clouds coming into sections of St. Thomas and Portland, the eastern end of the island. Definitely bring some overcast skies, if not some isolated showers and some isolated thunderstorms as well. That was definitely predicted. My parish definitely got in on some decent rainfall. And even at around 1:15 p.m., the infrared satellite imagery was still showing some thunderstorms affecting sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes. We're talking about sections of Portland, St. Thomas, sections of Kingston into St. Andrew, section of northern St. Catherine, maybe southern St. Anne, section of St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland at that time. And if we take a look at the visible, we can see exactly what took place. So it even spread to other parishes for sure. A lot of activity across the east and a lot of activity across the west, and we definitely saw the activity even better on the infrared right here. I mean, look at all of the thunderstorms that took place across the eastern end, then across the western end during the afternoon hours. I mean, look at the deep convection in the reds, into the blacks and the grays that represents that cumulonimbus cloud cover across section of northwestern St. Elizabeth, eastern Westmoreland, eastern Hanover, intersection of St. James. They definitely got some good thunderstorms. We see the sparkling white that's in there as well, that we know represents some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. This was at the 20:05 UTC hours. I believe that was about 3:05 p.m. satellite imagery. They were definitely getting in on some decent thunderstorms right then and there, which quickly pushed off towards the west. And if we take a look at the live camera here from Jamaica's YouTube channel, this was in Kingston at around 1:30 p.m. Excuse me. At that time, we saw some light rainfall taking place. We can actually see the rain droplets right over here, looking down towards downtown Kingston. We had some amount of rainfall. We definitely had some cloudy skies. We had some thunder. We had some strong winds as well. So we had some amount of rainfall, but nothing really significant at all. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams all for you all to view for free. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out. And if we take a look at the total accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map isn't 100% accurate at all, because we definitely had that rainfall across eastern parishes today. We don't even see that being highlighted here, but we definitely see that rainfall across some central and western parishes though, and we definitely have some confirmation from some of our followers on our social media platform confirming what the weather was like in their area today. We had a Reach More Love stating CM so it go, rain is falling in St. James. On our Instagram page, we had Lovable LaDonna stating strong winds plus heavy rain and the sky is dark here in Morant Bay, St. Thomas. We also have Sapphire Willie _March 29N stating getting a nice shower of rain in Mobe. We also have S.Kelly _32 stating just 2 single drop of rain in Kingston, we get chop again. We have Portmore Bell _Nas stating got some rain up by Ligani, hopefully some over by Portmore. We also have Cotty Libra _28 stating overcast in St. Andrew. Kemar _Ja highest youth 825 stating rain there Mommy Bay. And even on our YouTube page, we had some comment coming in. Some of our followers confirm what the weather was like in their area. We have Randale Green stating good evening weather Jamaica. We get some rain and thunderstorm in Browntown, St. Anne. Thanks for confirming. We have Donna Williams 4085 stating in East Portland no rain yet, just overcast. And we have Herma King 9253 stating we're having rain in St. Thomas. Thank you all for confirming what the weather is like in your area for today. Alright, so let us reload the very latest still image from the Weather Nerds website. Let us reload the very latest image from the Jamaican Doppler radar website at Smith Service. Let us reload the very latest imagery from the Cuban Doppler radar website, the Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar, and the Cayman radar. Let us see what's happening right now. Alright, so the latest still image from the Weather Nerds website is showing 0035 UTC, which is actually 7:35 p.m. So this just came out about 7 minutes ago, considering that it is 7:43 p.m. right now. Don't really see much in the way of deep convection at all, just some leftover clouds from today's rainfall. We see some of the blues into the greens representing some high level clouds, and even the whitish shades for sure across especially eastern, central and western parishes. But don't we have rainfall within all of that? But we can definitely see the Jamaican Doppler radar today, definitely looking quite festive today. Look at the rainfall that took place. The greens into the yellows across sections of the east and the south as well, maybe even sections of Clarendon getting in on some of the rainfall. And even in the late afternoon, we definitely had some rainfall in my area once again, some decent rainfall into Portland and St. Thomas. And look at the western end during the afternoon. Look at those yellows into the oranges and reds across sections of Hanover, Westmoreland, sections of St. James. For sure, they definitely got some decent rainfall, and even close to recording hour, we still had some leftover rainfall across sections of Westmoreland right there at the western end. Unfortunately, the Cuban Doppler radar wouldn't be showing something similar. Well, hold on. It looks like it's almost fixed, because it was showing August 18 and then it just jumped all of a sudden to August 26. Well, that's August 26. Today is August 27. So I guess it's showing something from yesterday. Alright, so it's still broken down. The Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar, on the other hand, showing that we're not receiving much of anything across western Haiti. We do see some rain bands right here in the blues and green, some light to moderate rainfall across sections of southeastern Cuba though. And we can also see some of the rain bands that affected portions of the northeastern sections of the island of Jamaica. The Cayman radar, as you can see here, showing some amount of rainfall in the blues, greens, yellows, represent some light to moderate to heavy rainfall, especially to the northwest of Jamaica, definitely associated with the moisture from the tropical wave, all of which is currently pushing off towards the west as we speak. The Cayman Islands not getting in on much, but we can definitely see that light rainfall in the blues that's exiting the western portions of Westmoreland as we speak. The live camera now from Sea Jamaica's YouTube channel showing the Bagua Gorge. It is 7:46 p.m. As you can see, nothing really taking place at all. Definitely fair weather taking place around there as we speak. People in their vehicles going about their business. Nothing in the way of bad weather taking place at this time. And that should be the order of the evening into the night. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we're 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay and Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Thursday, temperature should dip down to about 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Thursday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Thursday. Excuse me. And we can see Jamaica right here embedded in some yellows. The yellows, as we know, represents what we see here on the queue on the right, up to at least 1 degree Celsius above normal temperatures. I know the normal temperature for the month of August across Jamaica is around 91 degrees Fahrenheit. And when that's converted to degrees Celsius that we use here in Jamaica, that is around 32.8 degrees Celsius. So it should be receiving anywhere from 32.8 to 33.8 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Thursday. And unfortunately, we have some maintenance outage advisories here from my JPS Online's Twitter page that we have to highlight. I know that we have to highlight this because we know that when we have power outages somewhere across the island, it can definitely make the heat feel even worse because we don't have our fan or AC to cool us down. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, please let them know that a power outage is coming their way on Thursday, August 28, 2025. We're referring to Fagan Avenue or Grandspin in the parish of St. Andrew from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Rose Hill to Wellington in the parish of Manchester from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We're also referring to Cassia Park Avenue in St. Andrew from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And I guess that's it. So please ensure that you let them know that the power outage is coming their way. And we have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. It states here: dress down, wear lightweight clothing and use sunscreen. Check on others, including children, elderly people with medical conditions, and pets. Be cool, stay indoors, and make use of fans and air conditioners. Avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can make dehydration worse. Limit non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day. And I cannot stress enough the importance of keeping hydrated throughout the day. Drink lots of water even if you're not thirsty, and put away those sugar drinks and drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we know that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. That's the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and the whites within those rays. And we can see the abundance of dry air extending all the way from Africa across the main development region. Definitely more so across the northern portion of North Atlantic. We know that the dry air is responsible for keeping the atmosphere stable, making it harder for it to rain. And we can see it all of over here near Africa for sure, but we like that we're seeing more moist air over here across the western main development region, into the Caribbean, the southwestern Atlantic, into the Gulf, in and around Central America right here. That's what we want to see. We want to see more moist air. That's how you know we're going to be having more clouds, that we get more rainfall to keep water in our pipes. But regarding the Saharan dust forecast, we're heading into August 28, 29, 30, and as you can see here, Jamaica for August 28 should be in the clear, so to August 29. Then by August 30, look at the Saharan dust creeping in. So we see it coming through the eastern Caribbean, well, more so the Windward Islands, over the next 2 days. Then it should be right here to the south of Jamaica by August 30. Hopefully it doesn't lift northward into us, because although it's not that vigorous of a plume, it's definitely going, it would be notable that we see some hazy skies, and we know that some persons are easily triggered by the Saharan dust. So we just hope that you all have your meds handy just in case your asthma or your sinusitis issues are triggered if it actually lifts northward. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we're seeing that the highest waves across the Caribbean should be right here to the north of the Venezuelan and Colombian border. That's where the dark blues into the purples are. That represents anywhere from 2 to 2.5 meter wave height, and that's because of the winds that are expected over there. We see up into the yellows that represents 20 to 25 knot winds coming in from the east for the most part. And if we zoom in on Jamaica's wave forecast for tomorrow, to the north of Portland 1 meter wave height, to the south of St. Thomas 1.4 meter wave height, to the south of Clarendon 1.3 meter wave height, to the north of St. Anne 0.8 of a meter wave height, to the north of Hanover 0.7 of a meter wave height, to the south of Westmoreland 1 meter wave height expected tomorrow. And that's because of the winds that are expected. We clearly see the flow of the winds coming in from the east tomorrow, averaging about 15 knots to the south of St. Thomas, 12 knots to the north of St. Anne, 17 knots to the south of St. Elizabeth. And we see where the air is going to be piling up across sections of some western parishes, or maybe the northwestern end. That's where we have the least amount of winds. So that's where we could have those low-level clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds, and then into the upper levels of the atmosphere, they'll become some thunderstorm clouds, some cumulonimbus clouds. That's when we have that daytime heating during the afternoon. And the upper level winds for tomorrow seem to be coming in from the north or the northwest. So if we actually get some thunderstorms to formulate over that side, those cloud tops will be pushed out towards the southeast. And if we take a look at the actual rainfall forecast maps, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 2 p.m. Jamaica time. The Euro is showing rainfall across eastern, northern, and even it looks like eastern, central, and western parishes, but I'm more inclined to believe what the GFS is showing, considering that the tropical wave is well west of here. I wouldn't believe that it would be raining across the east, but maybe across sections of some central and western parishes. And you notice even some darker blues where we have Hanover, St. James, maybe sections of Westmoreland, northern St. Elizabeth, northern Manchester, section of Trelawney, western St. Anne. That's where it looks like the real rainfall for tomorrow will be during the afternoon. We don't even see much in the way of rainfall in the morning at all, but as you know, that doesn't mean that it can't occur. We'll see it actually plays out. And if we take a look at the total accumulated precipitation for the next 7 days here from the Weather Nerds website, both maps right here are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Thursday. And we can see that both the Euro and the GFS are showing rainfall across the island. The Euro only going up to at least the slight oranges, maybe up to 0.4, 0.5 an inch of rainfall. GFS going up to at least an inch or more in the western end. We'll see it actually plays out, and whatever happens, we'll definitely take it, because we're in the month of August. We usually receive an increase, the amount of rainfall that we receive when compared to July. And in Kingston, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the top, we usually receive close to 100 millimeters of rainfall. In Montego Bay, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the bottom, we usually receive close to 5 inches of rainfall for the month. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives in terms of rainfall for the month of August or for the entire year, you can visit weatherandclimate.com, and that website will show you that information. And you can use this nice graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall, so you can do the calculations yourself. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us according to the latest Euro and GFS supercomputer model runs that came out today. So keep your eyes focused on the timestamp right here as we go to the next 168 hours. That stands for the next 7 days. Keep your eyes focused on Jamaica right here as we look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens that represents inches of rainfall. So let's see what's going to be taking place. Alright, so we just looked at Thursday's forecast. Now it's time to look at Friday on both the Euro and the GFS. 12Z on Friday is actually 7 a.m. and we actually see some greens represent some rainfall across the far eastern end of the island for Friday morning. Then on Friday afternoon, we actually see some greens that represent rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. What does the GFS show? Friday morning, maybe some isolated showers across the east as well. Friday afternoon, maybe some rainfall across some northern and western parishes. What do we see for Saturday morning? On Saturday morning, we see some rainfall across the far eastern end. Saturday afternoon, maybe some rainfall across some central and western parishes on the Euro. What does the GFS show? Saturday morning, not really seeing much of anything on the GFS. Saturday afternoon, we see some rainfall across some northern parishes. What do we see on Sunday morning? Not really seeing much on the Euro at all for Sunday morning. Sunday afternoon, however, we see some rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. What does the GFS show? Sunday morning, not really showing much of anything. Sunday afternoon, maybe some rainfall across some central and western parishes. What do we see on a Monday morning? On Monday morning, not really seeing much of anything. Monday afternoon, maybe some rainfall across some central and western parishes. What does the GFS show? Monday morning, nothing. Monday afternoon, maybe some rainfall across some eastern, central, and western parishes. Interesting. What do we see on Tuesday morning? Tuesday morning, maybe some rainfall across the far eastern end of the island. Tuesday afternoon, maybe some rainfall across some southern and western parishes. And we're going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Wednesday, September 3. Don't really see much of anything across Jamaica on that date. What does the GFS show? Tuesday morning, rainfall to our southwest, rainfall across the far eastern end. Tuesday afternoon, rainfall across some northern parishes. And we're going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours as well. So this is also valid for Wednesday, September 3. Don't really see much of anything across Jamaica at that time taking place. But we do see an increase in moisture right here across the southwestern Caribbean. Interesting. We'll see it actually plays out, and we even see an increase in moisture right here off the east coast of the US down into southern Florida. Very interesting. Could they be getting in on another system formulating off the east coast of the US? Only time will tell. I wouldn't be surprised if the Hurricane Center puts up a code yellow across the waters to the east of the US at all. Taking a look at the total accumulated precipitation forecast, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until Wednesday, September 3, and we can definitely see the dark reds into the purples and the pinks. That represents anywhere from 2 all the way up to 5 inches of rainfall. That's going to be affecting pushing on northern South America into Central America as usual, while other areas that are shaded in the yellows, oranges, and reds like the Lesser Antilles into the Greater Antilles, Florida, and the Bahamas, those areas should be getting in on an inch or less of rainfall for the most part. And if we zoom in on Jamaica's rainfall totals for the next 7 days, we can clearly see what is expected. We can see the blues into the greens into the yellows all across the eastern end to the western end of the island. That represents anywhere from a millimeter of rainfall all the way up to maybe 30 or 40 millimeters of rainfall. And we know usually the central to the western end usually gets their rainfall during the afternoon, while the GFS is showing the blues into the greens, yellows, even into the oranges, especially across the western end. It could be picking up maybe 63 millimeters of rainfall. Very interesting forecast. We'll see it actually plays out, and whatever happens, I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs if God spare life. Alright, so that is it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have a tropical wave right here across the main development region, more so squashed to the south across the intertropical convergence zone. We can see a lot of moisture associated with the X99L now across the Western Caribbean, pushing into sections of Central America. They're definitely getting on some heavy rainfall as we speak over there. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar imagery near Puerto Rico as usual, let's see what's taking place. We're actually getting on some isolated shores in and around Puerto Rico, as you can see here. We also see some moisture to the southeast of Guadeloupe, to the east of Dominica. And if we load these Doppler radar images from earlier today, we saw that portion of northwestern Puerto Rico definitely got in on some amount of rainfall. The Barbados radar firstly is actually showing that rainfall that we just mentioned just to the east of Dominica right here. We see some isolated rain bands hit our shores to the east of Martinique, to the east of St. Lucia, to the east of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We also see some moisture right here passing through sections of Tobago. And if we take a look at the weather view of Doppler radar images, we can see some rainfall across sections of Florida's southeastern portions. We see some rainfall to the west of Jamaica on the Cayman radar. We see some rainfall across the Yucatan into northern Guatemala, Belize, section of Honduras. We see some rainfall across northwestern Venezuela into Colombia. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are in agreement that within the next 24 hours from now up until 10 p.m. on Thursday, it should be raining where we have the greens into the yellows into the oranges and the reds, at least up to an inch or less of rainfall for portions of Florida, the Cayman Islands, Cuba, the Bahamas, section of Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands, Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, section of Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, section of Barbados, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana, Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Belize, the Yucatan Peninsula. And we can clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in agreement with that forecast, so the chances are higher for it to actually take place. Alright, so regarding what's taking place across the eastern to the central Pacific, we had that code orange yesterday across the central Pacific. That would have maybe increased the chances of us getting the next name on the list, that's Lala. But clearly that code orange has shrunk back down to a low chance, like code yellow. So the chances are diminishing for this system to possibly develop. However, on the eastern Pacific side of things, we're still watching Tropical Storm Juliet. To the south of Juliet, we have a code orange, and to the southeast of Juliet, we have a code yellow. So two things that are trying to develop and acquire the next name after Juliet, which is Kiko and Lorena. We'll see if that actually takes place. But regarding the latest on Juliet, first of all, the infrared not really that impressive. It kind of looks similar to what's happening to Fernand. Don't really have much in the way of convection. Definitely has more convection than Fernand, but doesn't look quite impressive at all. We see a lot of wind shear pushing the high cloud tops towards the southwestern US. They could definitely use all of the upper level moisture over there. Usually over very hot across this part of the US for sure. But it's expected to push off into cooler water, so we expect that Juliet should continue dissipating the more north that she goes. As of right now, she's packing 45 mile per hour winds, so she's down there close to tropical depression status. You know that tropical storms usually pack anywhere from 39 to 73 mile per hour wind, so it's definitely a low end tropical storm, and it is expected to downgrade back to a tropical depression as early as 11 a.m. on Thursday into Friday. And then look at that, after Friday doesn't seem like there would be anything else left of Juliet after that. As of right now, she's moving towards the northwest at 14 miles per hour. Regarding what's happening on the western Pacific side of things, we're still watching that code yellow right here to the west of the Philippines. The infrared shows a lot of cloud showers and thunderstorms associated with it right over here. But not really much taking place across the western Pacific at this time. China looks like they're in the clear for the most part. Japan looks like they're in the clear for the most part at this time. Nothing trying to develop at all. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for watching.